You are live. Good evening from Jacksonville, Northeast Florida. Welcome, everybody. This is Living in Jacksonville channel. Hello, Miss Rachel. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. No complaints. It's almost Friday, holiday weekend. We've got our first guest in tonight joining us live. Thank you for joining us. Hey, if you want to be asking questions or be interactive, this is an interactive show. So please tell me where are you watching from? And if you have anything you want to talk about or add or question, we are open to it as long as you're civilized, kind, and really nice and asking good questions. Is that a lot to ask? It might be, right? It might be.
I mean, you never know.
All right, so we have a really cool show tonight. We've been talking about the topic. Full confession, people on the YouTube world, we come up with topic ideas, and Miss Rachel and I kind of brainstorm on a topic that would be interested to you, learning about the area, why you would want to move here to the area, whether it's Jacksonville, St. Augustine, Northeast Florida, whatever it is, so that you can kind of get what the vibe is of the area, because there's so much to offer around here. So we're like, what do we call it? Why is everybody moving to Jacksonville? Or why is everybody moving to St. Augustine? Or why is everybody moving to Northeast Florida? Or the future of Jacksonville? Like the thumbnail says one thing and the title says another thing. And the honest to God truth is that Miss Rachel puts together some amazing research stuff for us tonight to talk about. But then we give it up to our SEO person, and all this SEO gets dragged into it too. Of what are you guys looking for when you're interested in learning about our area? So regardless, it's why are we moving to Northeast Florida? What's the future of Northeast Florida? And what is some of the culture? What's it like? Does that sum it up well, Ms. Rachel?
I think so. Yeah, I think we're getting there. Yeah, we've got a lot in the pipeline.
Okay. Hey, John. John's joining us. John Rando, Colorado. Hopefully not for long. Right on, brother. Not for long. Not for long. Who do we have here? We've got Brad from Palm Desert, California. Pretty cool. Welcome, Brad. Thank you for joining us tonight. And we have my friend Sarah Wolford. Hey, how are you, Sarah? Thanks for coming on tonight. Good to see you from Georgia. All right, so we got a good group of people in tonight. Hey, guys, if you have any questions, make sure you put it in the comments. Anybody else watching, make sure you don't be bashful. Tell us where you're watching from. All right, Miss Rachel, where are we starting at?
Okay, well, today I think first we're just going to start with, actually I came across a few articles talking about this. Jacksonville, population growth. Holy cow.
I know. And you know what?
The whole area.
I can feel it. So tell me about it.
So this article says it's among the 15 cities with most population growth in 2024, according to the U.S. Census. So, I mean, this is legit numbers. And it looks like here we are, number 10, Jacksonville, Florida. And we just topped 1 million people in the Jacksonville area. So total population is growing. We're getting big.
Yes. So quick question. I just want to make sure. So number one is, of course, New York. Okay. Houston, Texas is pretty interesting to me.
Yeah. So it's definitely interesting. The usual suspects are still getting some people in, but then of course we also saw this article. We were just talking about this a second ago, that we have from pods, the moving pods.
Mm-hmm.
They also have a trend report and where are people moving to and from in 2025. Mm-hmm. And Jacksonville's on the list for this. We are a place that people are moving to.
Wow. And that's good data, obviously, because a lot of my people that are moving and relocating from out of town, especially building new construction, they're using pods, right? So they have all the data, I would say.
Yeah, pods is definitely like a nice way to go. But here is 20 cities with the highest number of move-ins ranked. And Jacksonville on this list is number 10. Okay. It says we were 9th in 2024, but highest number of move-ins. And if you see this list, we're seeing number 1, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Ocala, Florida is 2nd. So their data is kind of backs up what the census is showing, really, is that people are I mean, if you look at this list, people are moving south.
They are moving south. Can you blame them?
I mean, I love the heat. I like, the sunshine. So, we were in the Chicago area before this. So I don't miss the cold. I don't miss the snow.
You don't miss Chicago. All right. For all
So
my Chicago people, I'm sorry,
I
but
miss
I
some
love
of the people there. I miss my friends, but I don't
Yeah,
miss the weather.
the Windy City is definitely deserves the name Windy City for sure.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So
Um,
yeah.
were you going to mention also like the two places that people are moving away from? I thought that was interesting, or am I jumping in?
Yes. So here's the 20 cities with the highest number of move outs ranked. And in here, we have 2 Florida areas. Number 3, South Florida, Miami area. People are moving out. And number 16, Tampa Bay. People are moving out of there too. So
Can I tell you the number one reason probably why? Can you guess?
if I had to guess,
Yeah.
schools.
No.
Oh.
Pretty good though. The number one reason why people are moving from Miami or Tampa it's the reason why I'm getting calls for people moving from those areas of here. Number one reason is home insurance.
Oh, yeah.
They're in major flood zones and hurricane zones, and it's going to become so unaffordable, as well as their markets, their housing and expensive living is so high as well, that the combination of high insurance, home insurance, or not being able to get insurance if you're near the coast in those cities, flood insurance, and then on top of that, add the mix of overpopulation and pricing so high, it's become so unaffordable. But what is also interesting on number one on your list there is one of the top 20 move out cities is Los Angeles, California. Doesn't shock me either. But interesting to hear people are leaving Miami as much as they are, because we're getting a lot of calls from South Florida. We're also getting it from Southwest Florida, the Naples, Fort Myers area, and that's for obvious reasons. They got hammered by surges and hurricanes and all that kind of stuff. So very interesting data for all of you that are considering other cities in Florida. Be cautious.
Right. So, I mean, the word is out. Jacksonville's hot right now. So, the Jacksonville area.
Yeah. Okay. So, Long Island, New York, a lot of people are leaving there. All these places look like very high tax areas. Central New Jersey, we're getting a lot of Jersey people. Oh, look, number 7 in the list, your old residency, Chicago, Illinois.
Right.
Boston, Massachusetts. That's surprising to me. Why would people want to leave Boston? Boston, pack your car in the parking lot. Everything's wicked cool. Why are people leaving Boston? If anybody's watching from Boston area or New England, tell me, why are you leaving? Hudson Valley, New York. Never been there. Denver, Colorado. We got some Colorado people in the house tonight, so maybe they can chime in. Santa Barbara, California. Seattle, Washington. Modesto, a lot of California, Washington, D.C., we do get a lot of those people. Hartford, Connecticut, I have no idea. Fresno, Austin, Texas, I'm surprised to hear that. Austin was booming during COVID, so I heard their market took a little bit of a hit. So interesting, cool stats, I like it.
Yeah, so that's from Pods. So,
okay,
just kind of their feet on the ground kind of movers. So I guess
I like it. They're in the trenches. Moving's so expensive now. I mean, have you seen my brothers moving up here, and like the quotations are insane. So it's not cheap.
Right. Yeah, movers aren't cheap. Moving from the Chicago area, it was like, whoa, but you have to do what you got to do.
Yeah. All right. What's next?
All right. So now we're going to start talking about some of the stuff that is coming or being renovated in the area that's about to open back up. Some of the stuff to do. Like once you get here, then what? Where are we going? What's to do? So first up, I have Ponte Vedra Concert Hall. So this place has been under renovation for a little while, and they're going to open back up on August 1st. So it is right around the corner. I am so excited. I have never been here. So I say that, but actually part of it you do vote there. So I have been there for that, but I've never been to a concert there.
I voted there too. I
Yeah.
went there too. That was the closest voting. So that's in Ponte Vedra Beach. And it's been around a long time. That place really needed renovating. And it's a popular spot, actually. A lot of people go downtown to the Florida Theater, which is amazing and grand for a lot of shows, comedy, whatnot. But
Right.
the Ponte Vedra Concert Hall is really cute, awesome. I think it's about time they give it a little facelift. So that's just super exciting.
Yeah. So it sounds like it's going to be awesome. The numbers I found, it's going to have a 1,100 room for standing and then 600 seated.
So 1,600 people, you're saying?
I think 1,000 people if it's standing room, like for a concert.
Oh, okay.
And then if it's a seated concert, it's like 600.
Okay. They haven't announced what they're going to be starting back up with, what shows or whatnot, are they?
Oh, yeah. So since it's August 1st, right around the corner, I mean, they've already got the upcoming events. It looks like the first one up is Dan Tyminski Band, Sister Hazel, Brian Kelly, the Wood Brothers, Tim Meadows. I mean, these are, Melissa Etheridge too.
Oh, wow. She's still at it. Sorry, Melissa, if you're watching, doubt it.
So anyways, so there's some kind of smaller names and then there's some bigger names. So they're getting ready for it. And I'll show you where it is on the map for all you out of towners. All right, so the red dot is the Ponte Vedra Concert Hall, and then I'm going to back it up so that you can kind of get a sense. Right over here is Nocatee.
Yeah. And then north is Jacksonville Beach.
That's right.
Yeah. So really close, right in the center part of Ponte Vedra Beach, very exclusive area. And you know what? I know this is weird to say, but my kids are watching an old TV show, and it was the Tanners, Full House. Have you ever heard of it?
Yeah.
And the daughters started an updated version of the show, but I forget the actor or the comedian's name, but his last show was at that concert hall before he passed away in Orlando the next night.
You're talking about Bob Saget.
Bob Saget.
Yeah.
That was his last comedy show, was ironically in Ponte Vedra Beach at that theater. And then he went to Orlando and unfortunately something happened and he passed. So
yeah, which is totally crazy. But yeah, so Ponte Vedra Concert Hall,
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder what kind of drugs they were selling over there. Just kidding. Totally bad joke.
I don't know.
Can you imagine? Nothing goes on in Ponte Vedra Beach. That's a complete irony for anybody watching. And by the way, these points in this show are completely opinion only. None of it is factual at all, and ignore Greg completely. All right, Rachel, take it away.
So so that's Ponte Vedra Concert Hall. And just because, we're talking music venues and kind of smaller music venues, one of the other places I want to talk about is the St. Augustine Amphitheater. And that is obviously in St. Augustine. And it also has like some big names that kind of come through there. So, Modest Mouse, if you're familiar, Rick Springfield. I mean, that's fun.
Yeah.
Dispatch for all my, people who like, Donovan Frankenreiter. That's, kind of beach music and Bare Naked Ladies and a whole bunch of fun stuff that's over there at the St. Augustine Amphitheater. They also have like farmers markets.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to see. They also have, I saw night markets, which I haven't done that, but that sounds super fun too. And they've got one coming up June 17th. It looks like the night market. So it's on
full bar, live music, and I guess you can go. Is it like what do you call those things that you go and things are flea markets, or is that kind of?
I think it's more like a farmer's market, like the normal kind of vibe with food trucks, but nighttime gives it a kind of a different kind of feel.
Cool. Tuesday night.
Yeah. So that's idea. So that's over in St. Augustine. And I'm going to show you where that is on the map too. So you can see, okay, so this landmark, that's the Castillo de San Marcos. That's the big fort in St. Augustine. So you got to go over the Bridge of Lions and get over to the St. Augustine Amphitheater, kind of over, on Anastasia Island.
Yeah, it's on the beach side, a little bit further away from downtown St. Augustine. So have you been to a concert there, Rachel, by any chance?
I haven't. I have one that I'm going to, though, in June. So I'm excited.
Okay.
It'll be my first time going over there.
Cool. We won't disclose it on the internet so you don't get stalked at the show. So
no. But yeah, I mean, I am excited. I think it's going to be really cool. And so just another cool place, another venue that's kind of smaller that maybe people don't know about yet. Or, if you're new here, you're still learning the ropes.
That's and I will say totally different vibe. Like St. Augustine will be a completely different vibe than the Ponte Vedra shows, totally different venues. St. Augustine's definitely got like a cool historical old Florida beachy kind of vibe, surf kind of vibe. And then Ponte Vedra is like, hello, welcome to Ponte Vedra Beach. This is where I live.
Yeah. So it's, I always think that St. Augustine is more beachy and more like a hippie-ish kind of vibe. I don't know.
And Ponte Vedra Beach is more country club-ish vibe?
That's what I would say.
Beach club vibe?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to give people kind of an idea of what the vibe is without being too, I don't like to put everybody in a pigeonhole, but, trying to give people the kind of the vibe, because honestly, the whole point of this show is this area is changing dramatically all the way, St. Augustine, all the way up to Jacksonville. So.
Right. Yeah. St. Augustine definitely has a big art scene. And speaking of a big art scene, there is a nonprofit in St. Augustine that wants to build a multi-million-dollar performing arts center. They just need a location. I love this headline. It's like perfect. So I actually watched the presentation that they had for the county commissioners on this place that they want to build. And it just seems awesome. So the Epicenter Alliance, it's, I believe it's 10 organizations in St. Augustine that are arts organizations, and they're trying to make this happen. So they have funding, they just need land. So they went to the commissioners and they're trying to come up with a place that would be a great place to put it. It's going to have, the vision is that it would have indoor and outdoor theaters, auditoriums, arts academies, a rooftop restaurant, retail stores, office spaces, banquet halls. Like they're talking, this could be a place for high school graduations. This could be a place for weddings. And I'm going to see if I can pull up. Here we go. This is from their presentation that they had. So these are all the organizations that are part of the alliance, but the building that they want to build, like, look how cool that is. It's called the Shell.
Okay. Can you scroll back up again? I was kind of curious to see the vision, the Shell Street. So
this one?
No, down a little bit. Epicenter Alliance.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll celebrate and sustain performing arts, visual arts, highest quality, then embrace the convergence of culture, heritage through collaborations, partnerships brought together for a common goal. Okay, cool. They're making an effort. I like that. St. Augustine's a huge tourist attraction, so it would be a cool place for people to experience the culture of St. Augustine with a place like that.
Right. So they have all of this sort of put together. So it's in the pipeline. It still needs a place to land, but I just think it's so cool. And
it is cool. Real estate is just so expensive down there, though. It'll be interesting to see where it could be put.
Yeah, I know one of the spots that they're looking at, here, I'll show you, is this red dot here, this area. So it would be a little bit, so King Street, if you follow that road, that'll take you to kind of the more touristy part of St. Augustine. Over here's the Bridge of Lions. So it's about 3 miles from that touristy part of St. Augustine. So it would pull some traffic away from that, which would be awesome too.
Yeah. St. Augustine does have a little traffic problem downtown. No doubt about that. It's getting kind of congested down there.
Yeah. But it's so beautiful whenever you get a chance to go down there. It's just very cool. But
For
since
sure.
we're talking about the St. Augustine area, we've got another thing that just popped up. Fort Mose, they built a fort reconstruction. So there's not just the big fort now. They actually created this this reconstruction. It's just another fort in St. Augustine, which is so cool.
Yeah.
So this
Yeah,
is
I think people need to understand that St. Augustine is one of the most historical oldest cities in the country.
well,
And
they say it's the oldest continuously inhabited city in the United States.
okay,
So that's what they say.
very cool.
But they
Yeah,
have to get that little caveat.
yeah. I mean, it's so historical, and it's got the cobbles. It's just awesome. It's such a cool place. It is. That's why it's such a main attraction here in Florida.
Right. So now there's this new thing too, this Fort Mose, where it's got even more. They built a new piece of it. The Fort Mose Historic State Park has been there for a long time, but they built this actual fort now, a replica, to show what used to be there. So that's kind of just, I don't know, just kind of neat.
I assume they're going to do some kind of events which kind of depict what happened back in history, or is that why they're dressed up, or is that no, or is it just a
I think
fort?
this was the ribbon cutting.
Okay.
So, they had
All
to
right.
they had to make it, they had to jazz it up a little.
Got it. All right. Cool.
And speaking of jazz, we're
Your
segueing into.
segues are incredible tonight. I give you credit.
I'm doing a really good job. Just one thing to the next. We've got the Jazz Festival, Jacksonville Jazz Festival. It's this weekend, and actually tonight they're doing the jazz piano competition at the Florida Theater. But this is a big deal in Jacksonville, and I mean, I'll just kind of let everybody sort of read who is going to perform. But Friday night, Kool and the Gang. I mean,
Cool.
that's awesome. That's definitely a big name.
Yeah.
Saturday, the headliner is Janelle Monáe.
Okay.
And so my husband's kind of obsessed with Trombone Shorty. So he's also playing at the Jazz Festival this weekend. So we might have to go. We might have to go check out Trombone Shorty. We might have to go see him live, because I just think that would be very fun. And this is in downtown Jacksonville. So, and then Sunday, the headliner is The Roots.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. So, have you ever heard of the Jazz Festival? Have you ever been?
Not in Jacksonville. I mean, obviously, I used to go to New Orleans Jazz Festival. That was a big thing in New Orleans.
Right.
So when you said that, I'd be, how cool would that if Jacksonville got put in the map, if this thing got bigger and bigger, because, jazz is very soulful. I think it matches our city awesome. So I would be very curious to attend something like that for sure.
Yeah, the Jazz Festival has been around for a while in Jacksonville. And I feel like each year, I mean, they get bigger and bigger names to come and perform.
Yeah.
And where they have it, they put it in the Tailgaters parking lot over by Everbank Stadium downtown.
Sweet.
So it's a big outside festival.
Okay.
But
not for long. It's going to be a new stadium starting next year. They're going to start working on the new Jacksonville Stadium.
I guess you're right. Yeah. So they're still going to play this year.
We're going to play here this year, but then the rumor is they're moving to Orlando during construction. So we're going to maybe lose the Jags for a year.
Interesting. So, yeah. So I wasn't sure where the Jags were going to play, but yeah. So they're
saying Orlando. Yeah. Orlando.
Yeah, Orlando, or could it still be Gainesville? Gainesville, I know, was rumored for a while.
Yeah, I think they would do better off in Orlando than Gainesville, to be honest with you, because Orlando is booming too, just like Jacksonville, if not way more. It's bigger. Really quick, I'm just going to interrupt. David George, love the picture, man. It's rainy, cold Connecticut. Okay. It's hot here, really hot. We could use a
Yeah.
little coolness. It got hot really quick here this year, a lot faster than previous years. So it has been record highs of heat. So thanks for joining us, David. Sorry it's raining and cold there. Come down and move to this area. Give me a call, man. All right, let's resume.
But yeah, so it has been hot, but I think hopefully it'll cool off this weekend for the jazz festival a little bit. But there are some parts that are inside, like tonight they're doing the piano competition at the Florida Theater. And the Florida Theater did a renovation that finished up in 2023. So last year, the fiscal year, was their first full year back. And they had record attendance. So, or
My
the highest
daughter got,
attendance since 1997. So,
yeah,
pretty
that
good.
theater is gorgeous. Yeah, my daughter got to perform ballet on that stage twice, and
Oh,
that was
that
a
is so cool.
pretty cool thing to do. Of course, it was a Sunday night, like at 10 or 11. We were all falling asleep, but hey, we had to take the venue when it was available. But super
Right.
killer venue. That's going to be awesome. So, people, if you're into jazz, this is something you got to check out for sure.
Yeah. So, well, jazz, yeah, is the competitions tonight there, but the Florida Theater, they've got all kinds of other stuff going on too. So after their renovation, it's a 100-year-old building. They've still got ongoing improvements. Another 15 million, I think they're putting into it. They're expanding the first floor lobby, and they're going to restore the marquee. And
Sweet.
yeah, here you go. So you can see the jazz competition that's tonight, actually, like right now. And then you can see that Frankie Valli is coming there. It's just an oral storytelling event on the theme of trail. I mean, this is the kind of culture stuff that, like, just to me, is just makes Jacksonville so cool.
Yeah, and nobody knows about it. If they're not from here, they would never know.
Right. So I'm just trying to get everybody in the know that there's definitely, like, there are things here to go and do and see. So, don't miss out.
For sure.
And I can show where it is on the map here too. So Florida Theater in the red, it's in the downtown area. So,
Can you
there's
zoom
Everbank
out a little?
Stadium. I feel like that's everybody's good landmark to figure out where everything is.
Yeah. The big development going on there now is a new Four Seasons down by the riverfront. So that's going to be really interesting. We got to do a show on that as well, on the booming development that's going on in downtown.
I mean, I think we could spend a whole hour on that for sure. So, cool. Yeah, we'll figure out when we can put that together.
If anybody wants to hear about some of the cool developments in downtown and Four Seasons, make sure if you're watching this on recording or now, put it in the comments. Anything you want to learn about or hear about for this area for show ideas, please make sure you put it in the comments. We read every single one, and we will definitely make an effort for sure.
Oh, yes. All right. And then another thing that's up and coming, we have, all right, so our Museum of Science and History, we call it the MOSH. It is closing where it is now, and it's going to move across the river, and it's going to be over by the stadium. So this is what it looks like now. They're staying open until September 1st. So if you have any kiddos and you're thinking about moving here, definitely check it out before they shut it down, because it's cool now. And it's going to be super cool once they reopen. But it's going to be 2028, I believe, before it reopens. So
wow. And they're spending $100 million. That's insane.
Yeah, this is going to be a big, big deal. So it is, yep. So they're going to do groundbreaking in 2026, completion anticipated in 2028. So Museum of Science and History, it's a very cool place. My second grader just did that for a field trip, and she thought it was fantastic. So she came home with a bouncy ball. So she was over the moon.
Yeah, we did it one day on a rainy day, and I thought it was totally awesome. I mean, seriously, so awesome. So I'm excited about the new location, new venue for sure. So I'll be there.
Yeah. So this is where it is now in the red. And then it's going to move. It's actually going to move over here in that shipyards area that they're going to build with the new stadium renovation. So that's going to be pretty
All near the
cool.
stadium. There's gonna be a lot of action in that area with the Four Seasons, the new Mosh, a lot of stuff
No,
going on over there.
no kidding. I mean, it's yeah. I know a lot of people when they first come through Jacksonville, they kind of think, oh, there's not a lot going on downtown. Oh, there's a lot going on downtown. You got to know where to look, and there's a lot more coming. So
Yeah, for sure.
it's just cool. So another thing I thought I'd mention, just sort of on like the history and museum front, Jacksonville History Center opens in a renovated 105-year-old casket company building. I just thought that was so neat. Like, casket company? Okay. So, just kind of a neat little sidebar. And then when I looked at
Well,
the
I
map,
mean, somebody's got to build them, right?
yeah, I mean, I thought, okay, a 105-year-old building they renovated and turned into the Jacksonville History Center. I think that's great. And then you can see, I'm going to click on this so you can see, this is part of the property. So this is part of the Jacksonville History Center property, and then the casket company building's over here. But this was, I guess, I believe, an old hospital in Jacksonville.
Okay.
So, but I just think,
casket building company is no longer.
The casket company building is still there. It's
okay,
just
but they're not actually operation. Okay, all right.
Right. So no, the Jacksonville History Center is now in that old 105-year-old building.
Wow.
The former casket company building.
That's the cool thing about Jacksonville is the historical buildings and the preservation and what, it's a take on a big project like that because you have to go through so many loopholes. You really have to restore it back to its original conditions. There's an architectural review committee, historical architectural review committee. So that's awesome to see the effort to preserve that. That's what gives it so much character.
Right. So this is all part of that property. And I just thought it was so cool. And I had to pull it up because I just, I think you kind of miss seeing some of this stuff when you're just driving through really quick. So you just don't know, like, oh, there is some of this kind of stuff in Jacksonville.
Yeah. You would never know. Let me see right here. The Jersey Guido. Hey, Greg. Hey, Jersey Guido. What's up, man? Thanks for joining us tonight.
Oh, goodness. So next up, I have the Riverfront Plaza. And this is sort of just a big park area that's going to be built in the Jacksonville downtown area. And it's right next to the Jacksonville Performing Arts Center. So if you've been down that way, you'll see that a lot of this is under construction. Mm-hmm. But I saw this little teeny part in the corner here, and you have to kind of squint, but it says beer garden. I felt like that's culture. Something to talk about.
Well, have you ever done the microbrewery tours downtown?
I haven't. I need to.
Yeah, it's actually a very cool experience, and there's a lot of them, and they give you a booklet, and they do arrange tours like that. And it's a lot of fun, and there's a lot of microbreweries, and it's actually I don't know if people realize that either, but that was one of the first things I did with a friend when we first moved here, and we had a blast.
Yeah, I think that would be really fun.
Yeah.
And so you can see here on the map, this is the Riverfront Plaza where that's going to go, and next to it is the Jacksonville Center for the Performing Arts. And I always just like to back it up so you can get kind of a better sense of the downtown area. I mean, just being on the river, that piece of property is going to be stunning. It's just gorgeous.
For sure. And we need it. It's got to lively up the area. People always ask, do you go downtown Jacksonville a lot? And we don't, unless it's football games or Florida theater or whatever. But this is giving more reasons to go down there. And then also with the Four Seasons, you're going to attract more tourists because, I don't think people realize that we're not a huge, except for the exception of St. Augustine, we're not a huge tourist destination in Jacksonville, if you will. As a matter of fact, a lot of the folks that are visiting are usually family members and friends of our military base, because we have a big, not just naval, but Air Force or whatnot here. So I don't know what I'm trying to say, but we have a big military presence here. So you'll get a lot. I mean, there's 90,000 plus military employees here. So we get a lot of folks visiting family and whatnot. But, you don't hear a ton of people yet going, hey, we're going to go on vacation in Jacksonville. Maybe St. Augustine, but not Jacksonville. But that is coming.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're going to look back at this recording in 2025 and go, remember, that's so funny. We were talking about how Jacksonville is going to become a huge tourist destination.
Yes. So another thing I was going to show is the Jacksonville Center for the Performing Arts, which is going to be right next to that park that I showed you.
Mm-hmm.
And this place is cool because on one side it has the Jacksonville Symphony Orchestra, and on the other side they have other kinds of shows, but like the traveling Broadway shows that come through. So you can kind of see, like, on one side, it has the theater for the symphony, so it's kind of a different setup, and the other side is like the Broadway stuff. And it's just a really neat place. And the symphony has announced their stuff that they have coming up, their shows. I went to the symphony for Christmas time, and granted, I might be particularly interested in the symphony because both my kids play violin, but they do a great job, and they put on these great shows, and they have such cool stuff going on. So if you're interested in the symphony, there's a symphony here. You've got plenty of music to check out. And then also,
actually, one of my dad's friends was into the symphony, and a very prominent person. And I always asked him, because he lived in all parts of the world, including Miami, Coconut Grove, all the places around. And I said, why move to this area? And one of them, he said, was the Jacksonville Symphony.
Right.
If you're into it.
I think if you're looking for something that you can take your kids to, or you're looking for stuff that is something special to do, that is definitely a cool place to check out. And this is the lineup that they're going to do for the Broadway Jacksonville season at that venue as well.
Man, that's bad for your kids. Violin is brutal. I can't believe that is so hard, but that is so...
I'm not musical, so I didn't push that. And it was my oldest really wanted to play violin, and so here we are.
Yeah. Hold on, I got to show this comment because it's a little controversial, so I'd like to recognize it before we continue. All right, so wait, hold on. I'm a Floridian, and Jax is okay, but I couldn't live there. XOXOXO Bob. All right, Bob, tell me why you couldn't live here. First of all, you said you're Floridian. I want to know if you've ever lived here. And then also, if you did, when was it, how long ago, and for how long did you live here, and why couldn't you live here? Because I think other guests would want to know that as well. Because when I suggested moving from South Florida up here, and I told my wife Jacksonville, she's like, oh no, I could never live here. And then she came here, and then 7 years later, she's never looked back. So I'm very curious to know why, Bob, you say that. So please let us know. One more comment here. Hey, Robert, how are you? Good to see you, man. Greetings from cold, rainy Long Island. Been on since the beginning. Oh, cool. So it's raining in Connecticut, and it's raining in Long Island. All right. A little water is not bad. We could use a little more rain. We got a little bit last week, but we haven't gotten much rain lately, so we can definitely use it. Thanks for joining us, Robert.
Yeah,
all right, sorry, Rachel.
Oh, you're all good.
You have a lot more to do because we're running the time. How much more do we have? I'm going to stop interrupting.
I could go forever.
Hold on, really quick. The answer is I'm from Miami. All right, fair enough. I used to live in South Florida. Miami is very crowded. I could give you pros and cons to living in Miami all day long, but I'm not going to get in that debate. But I'd like to know if you actually ever lived in Jacksonville before you could say you could never live here. So cool. All right, go, Rachel. We don't have a lot of time left, so let's go.
Okay. All right. There's another new music venue. It's called Five. It's in 5 Points, and it's planning on. It just renovated. It just reopened. They're planning 100 shows a year. And this is just another one of those like historic 1927 theater. And, you know, they're bringing life into it with all this new music. So this is about the same size as that Ponte Vedra Concert Hall.
Yeah.
But just in the downtown Jacksonville area.
Do you have a map of that? Because 5 Points is a very popular area for people, just to get an idea.
I do. So it's right here. I'm going to zoom in.
Okay.
So there it is right there, 5 Points.
Okay. It's kind of like a little bit west of where we just were, down by the Riverfront by the stadium. So we're a little west of that.
That's right. So kind of, yes. And then over here, this right here, this Cummer Museum Arts and Gardens, that was the next place I was going to talk about. So you could, you know, hit up the Cummer Museum and maybe go check out some music at 5. And there's a ton of like restaurants and things in that area too.
Avondale?
Riverside, I think. Yeah, Riverside.
Okay, Riverside, yeah. It's
yeah.
near Avondale. That's the 5 Points, right?
Right. So I've actually walked from the Cummer Museum over to 5, I mean, in the daytime, and it was lovely. And yeah. I feel like it's a nice walk. The Cummer Museum of Art has Friday night events from May 30th, so coming up, to June 20th, where they'll have like live music and art experiences, making art, lawn games, that kind of thing. So it's a nice place. It's on the river. They have this beautiful gardens. So another just little place that maybe people don't know about. And the art exhibits there are also really fun.
Cool.
Another art museum in Jacksonville is the Museum of Contemporary Art. And they actually just were awarded hold on, let me show this tab. They received a high national recognition, actually the highest national recognition afforded to American museums. So they got accreditation through the American Alliance of Museums. So, and that just happened in early May. So, I mean,
we're getting put on the map.
Distinctions.
Yeah, that's pretty respectful. I mean, I don't know if people realize just how much art and history and culture there is here. I mean, it's incredible. I mean, the more and more you bring it up, it blows me away. I didn't even know half of it, honestly. And Jacksonville is one of the biggest cities physically, so everything's so spread out. You know, the downtown area, the 5 Points area, San Marco, Jax Beach, Atlantic Beach, Neptune Beach, Ponte Vedra Beach, you know, St. Augustine. It's just so much to do here. I don't think people even have an idea. Like you know, like Bob here, he says Jax is just okay. I grew up up north, and Miami is like a tropical New York City. Well, you know, a lot of people are trying to get away from New York City, so you know, but different folks for different, or what is it? Different. Yeah, I'm tired. Clearly, yeah. Different strokes for different folks. There we go.
There you go. But yeah, so that's the Museum of Contemporary Art in Jacksonville, and that's I'll zoom out if I can, if it'll let me. There we go. And I'll just kind of give a sense of, just because I think this will help too, to see how big we're talking about. I mean, there we go. We've got Ponte Vedra Beach over here, downtown. But really, I mean, when you map it, it seems like it's really far, but it really only takes 35, 40 minutes.
Yeah.
If there's traffic, maybe longer, but it's never really, I mean, coming from where we were in the Chicagoland area, if we were going from where we lived in the suburbs into the city, it would take us easily an hour, and usually an hour and a half with traffic. So to me, it's still way better.
Yeah, I guess it depends on what time of day it is and everything. But at night or whatever, when we go to downtown, I think we've gone out to dinner in River and Post, and we've gone out in Avondale and whatnot. We're like, wow, coming home at night, it doesn't really take that long at all.
No.
Yeah,
So
I
I
agree.
know it looks far, and then maybe it even sounds far when you're like, oh, it's going to be like 15 miles or however long. It just really, it's not. Jacksonville, you get kind of used to, especially if you're living in the Nocatee area, everything's 30 minutes away.
Yeah, that's true. Some
So
people don't want
either
to
you
drive
stay in
very
your little
far.
bubble, or you just have to,
Yeah, they just want to get in their golf cart and go to Roscaloosa.
which is okay too.
That's okay. Yeah, no judgment there.
All right. Well, that's really all I have for today. And I mean, we've got a lot that we could talk about with the shipyards, Jacksonville area that's going to be over by the stadium, but I think that's for another show.
I think that's a whole different show. I think we kind of wrapped it up nicely. The arts and the museums and everything that is coming is super, super awesome. I love that we have such a different flavor from St. Augustine to up to the Jacksonville area. I almost said Miami, Bob. You got me. I lived down there a long time. I lived in Miami for a very long time, South Florida. Um, and I would say that is a good definition of tropical New York City down there. Um, one of the things I would like to mention, and I don't know if it's even something you'd say, but I mean, we have a lot of culture and arts and all that, but we don't have, like, speaking of Miami, we don't have a Miami nightlife here. We
No.
don't. No, I mean, you're not going to go to a rave or a club here and be out all night and all that kind of stuff. I don't think, or at least I'm ignorant and don't know of it, which is probably the draw to places like South Florida, Fort Lauderdale or Miami. You can go out till 10 in the morning, and that's the difference here. It's probably not a party area, although it's growing in popularity with the young professionals, because there's so many job opportunities. There's so much industry here. I don't think people realize how much industry is here. The job opportunities are great. So we have a huge medical community. We talked about our last show with all the future employment that's coming from UF Health, for instance. And then there was an article recently that there is a petition, or they're trying to vow for funding for a aircraft builder that wants to come here for jets, I think it is. And if
Yeah.
they were granted the funding from the city of Jacksonville, they would be another, I think, 1,000 jobs or 1,200 jobs. So, I mean, there's a lot of industry moving here, and a lot of job opportunities, whatever you're in: finance, tech, aerospace, military, anything military related, logistics. We have the biggest shipping port on the East Coast. Amazon fulfillment is here. Gate, Gate gas station headquarters. All the banks have headquarters here. So much industry, and then you add the cultural aspect to it, the education, everything. It's a really, really cool place to live, and I'm so glad that when I did propose that idea to my wife, that she didn't shoot it down. She gave it a shot, and we came by and checked it out and said, wow, this is a real gem up here. And I think with the future of development, which we're going to continue talking about on Thursday nights, thanks to you, Ms. Rachel. I appreciate everything you did tonight. What a beautiful collage. If everybody's appreciating what Ms. Rachel put together for us tonight, make sure you put in the comments, give us a thumbs up, or subscribe, or just give us a thumbs up. But I think that when you give it an opportunity to highlight, you don't realize how underrated this city is and how much massive growth is going to occur here in the years to come. We haven't even touched upon it. Look at that. Sarah said, thanks, Rachel. Yes, I agree.
I
Thanks.
will say this, just, my piece. I moved, I mean, my dad was military, so we moved around, but we always ended up back in Jacksonville. Jacksonville, we'd kind of boomerang back. When I graduated college from the University of North Florida, I ended up in Atlanta for 8 years. Then from there, for my husband's job, we were in the Chicago area for 8 years. And the whole time I just wanted to get back to Jacksonville. So you know.
Can I ask why? Is it because it was home or because it was something particular the other cities just didn't have?
I mean, it's the beach. It's I don't know. There's just something about the Jacksonville vibe that I just, it does feel like home to me. But
Yeah.
it's more than that. It's a pace of living that I enjoy. It's not so slow, but it's not so fast either,
Yeah.
especially in Atlanta when you're driving through all that traffic.
Yeah. No, I agree. That's a very good way to, let's see here. Jax is very business like, which is a positive. Okay.
Yeah, I
Well,
wouldn't say Jacksonville is like a big party town, but
yeah. I don't think we're a very intellectual, smart, artistic town. We like to go to museum and the mosh and raise
true.
our children
We're
playing
a laid back bunch too.
violin, but we still go to the beach as well, and we let loose down at the jazz festival.
I mean, there's so much to do.
It's very sophisticated. Um, Bridget says, thank you. You're welcome, Bridget. Thanks for joining us tonight. Look, Rachel, everybody's thanking you. How sweet is that? What nice people.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Bridget.
Thank you. Absolutely. That is super cool. All right, folks. Well, if you're thinking about moving to the area, we're not YouTubers. We are in the real estate business, and we are supported by all of you that are moving the area. Some of you here on tonight, I know that I am working with you. So thank you guys. I really appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. We love being able to connect with awesome people like yourself. This show really allows us to attract like-minded people. And we want that. We want this area to grow with awesome, like-minded people. And we want you to be happy. So we're super, super glad that you joined us. And if you are thinking about moving the area or thinking about upsizing, downsizing, please reach out. You can text me, call me, email me. And of course, if you have any other ideas on the show that you would like for us to do, make sure you put it in the comments. If you want to hear about something or a project or anything related to Northeast Florida, Jacksonville, St. Augustine, please reach out and let us know. Me after a rave, barf. Okay. All right. Well, I guess you shouldn't go down to Miami because that
Good
would
to
be.
know.
That would be Thank you.
You gotta know your limits. You gotta know your limits.
Should we end on that?
Wait, how about we do that? Next week we'll do beach walk, Beacon Lake area.
Okay. Yeah, Beacon Lake area. Oh, that's right. Next week we're going to be doing beach walk in the Beacon Lake area. Tons of development going on there. I hope you did any research or whether Margaritaville is actually coming or not, because I know they were supposed to, but then I heard they backed out. So I'm curious to hear if there's any.
I'm looking for info. So
okay. All right. Find out if Margaritaville is ever going to give it a second chance and come back to the Beacon Lake beach walk area. And I'm very opinionated on that area. So if you really want to hear my opinion about some of the stuff that's going on in that area, it'll be deep into about 30, 45 minutes into the show, so that I know only my true listeners will get to hear the juicy stuff. All right. Just kidding. All right, guys, it's been great. Thank you for joining us Thursday night. Join us next week. Make sure you subscribe, and we'll see you on the next show. Have a great night.